What's up, dude?
How's it going?
Wonderful. Tonight we are going to talk about Eureka. Eureka is here in St. Louis. We're in St. Louis County, West County to be specific, out Highway 44. The major kind of landmark near us is Six Flags St. Louis. It's right here in town, and kind of why our city has so many great parks and is such a great city is everybody coming from St. Louis. It's always been a destination out here, Eureka has. I know I grew up in South St. Louis, and my uncle lived in St. Charles, but he had a camper and RV. So whenever we'd go camping, we always went out to Babbler, which is in Wildwood, which is right here next to us down Highway 109. So, for me growing up, this was always a vacation spot. So I kind of figured, and that was one of the big things and why we came to Eureka. There was really no other option for me to open a shop anywhere else except for Eureka. St. Louis is, if you're not from the area, we're like super weird about each little municipality. We've got like Eureka and Kirkwood and Wildwood and Baldwin and I don't know, it's this whole thing. But anyhow, so we're in St. Louis, but we are Eureka, which is the very most western part of St. Louis. You can't get any farther west. So we're right here at the head of the Ozark Mountains. They're really just a bunch of hills, but our trails have, approximately 300 feet of elevation change throughout them. So plenty of ups and downs. I guess most trails would be considered cross country, but it's really techie, super fun cross country stuff. So we have Greensfelder County Park, and I'll pull up the map. I mean, anything you want to say about Eureka before what we'll end up getting into is we'll kind of just first show the trails and where you can ride just right here within a mile and a half of the shop. We're in the kind of heart of Eureka. There's kind of two main roads through the place. So we'll go through where to ride. And then if people are coming from out of town or if they're coming from St. Louis, where we think the coolest places to stay are. There's camping, there's dope hotels, there's cheap hotels, there's a KOA, all kinds of fun stuff. So we'll run through that real fast. And then we'll end up getting into, when you are in town, what to eat. So, and maybe we'll go to the food thing second after trails, and then we'll go on where to stay. So we'll end on where to stay. And we'll do it the other way. Do you have any thoughts on Eureka?
It's a really cool town. I'm not from Eureka. I started spending a lot of time in Eureka when I started working here. And it's super cool that there's so many cool little spots. It really feels like a small town, but it's still so close to St. Louis, and of course has all the best mountain bike spots in the area. So can't beat that.
Yep. So I'm sharing the screen with everybody. This is Trail Forks. If you're looking to visit St. Louis or you want a good trail map, our local trail building organization is Gateway Off-Road Cyclists. They have a website called gorktrails.com. If you go on there, we've got about 20 different parks in the greater St. Louis area. I think 3 of the best ones are here in Eureka. But there's 25 other great trails, all within a 30-minute drive from here. So it's a really good hub if you are passing through town and you want to check out some things in St. Louis. Staying out here in Eureka is cool. You can shoot up Highway 44. It's about 20 minutes to get to 25 minutes to get to downtown St. Louis. Straight up on one highway. There's normally not traffic there. So even if you're coming in with family, you don't want to stay downtown and have all your bikes and everything. I know one thing I always look for when I'm traveling is I want to stay somewhere kind of quiet, where it's relaxed. Eureka is an awesome place to do that. So if you're visiting St. Louis, stay out in Eureka. There's not traffic out here. You can calm down, you relax, but we still have Walmart, ton of really great restaurants, and a ton of trails to kind of serve as your base of operations. And if you got your family, you can send them to Six Flags for the day while you ride. You can float down the Merrimack River. If it's winter time, you can go ski over at Hidden Valley. I think they just closed for the season. So plenty of stuff to do here. There's rock climbing even now. They got some rock climbing routes opened up. But anyhow, on the map, you can see right from St. Louis, we got St. Louis Zoo, all that fun stuff. You can go see the Arch or something if you're from out of town. But if you're coming from St. Louis, it is a really good break to get into Eureka because we don't have a ton of traffic down here. People always... You're in the darkness, dude.
Oh, well.
I can still see you. Yeah.
Cool.
But no, your people in town always, we're 10,000 people here, 12,000 probably at this point. But they complain about traffic and the one light getting out of town to some back road and where there's a couple subdivisions that backs up rush hour time to where, it's just like one lane of traffic going through. So that's people's big complaint point. You won't have to deal with that if you're visiting us. That's all on the outside of town past the shop here. But yeah, plenty of good stuff. Trails wise, right behind the shop, we have the Eureka Mountain Bike Park. That's basically 11 acres. City of Eureka kind of kickstarted Progressive Trails here in St. Louis by building that park for us. We worked with them to get that done. It's, I think, max elevation, about 60 foot of drop there. Good place to kind of get warmed up. If you haven't ever jumped before, done anything like that, Eureka Mountain Bike Park's a good place to go in session, some stuff. There's some tabletops, some different jumps. You've got some.
It has some really good skills areas that are really crucial for progression, especially in the drops area and some skinnies. Really, if you've never encountered a proper downhill course before with berm turns, jumps, skinnies, drops, and stuff like that, it's a really safe and controlled introduction into hitting those features. They're not too big to be scary, but they're big enough that you definitely think twice before doing it.
Yeah, so I'm showing on the screen here the Eureka Mountain Bike Park. So yeah, it's just a bunch of, there's a couple little runs. This is kind of a hiking trail around the outside I have highlighted. Yeah. The Kraken's like a cool little, I don't know, 6 foot drop-ish kind of thing.
Yeah. It's a cool warm up or cool down from a day of riding out here at places like Chubb or Greensfelder. It's probably not someplace that you want to make a whole day out of. The run's going to last about 45 seconds to a minute, maybe. But it's a really fun place. When it was built about 1.5 years ago to 2 years ago, there really was nothing else like it in the area. So it's really cool to see some other trails like it's starting to pop up.
Yeah, definitely. It kind of served as a spark for that. It's in the back of our parking lot. So if you're looking at the map here, I don't know how to use.
Yeah, I can ride straight out from the front of the shop on a single speed dirt jumper up to there, no problem.
Highlighted here is Mercy Urgent Care. That's our neighbors. We're right here. So it's literally in the back of our parking lot is Eureka Mountain Bike Park. And yeah, it's a really awesome place too if you have younger kids. You can sit in the car in the parking lot and let your kids ride around that park and see them 75% of the time.
Yeah, they have a really big youth drop section and a youth pump track section with some little wooden features. So you can sit in your car, you can sit at a park bench under a pavilion. They have nice bathrooms there as well. So you can really just kind of have a fun day for the family. There's some hiking trails as well. So
yeah, and not to get bogged down, because I want to keep moving, because we'll get into detail on all these parks and stuff in later podcasts. But I want to kind of give everybody an overview of everything now. So yeah, great place. And even there, let's say you're just coming in for the day, you could get a day pass for the Eureka Mountain Bike Park. This is the Timbers Recreation Center. So you can get a membership there if you're from St. Louis, but you can do a day pass. They have showers in there. They also have a really cool outdoor pool with like a lazy river and stuff. So that's all available. You can purchase a day pass to do that. The trails are free to ride. That's courtesy of the city of Eureka. But to use the facilities indoors, there's a free bathroom outside by the trails. But to go inside and use those facilities, which are really cool, you can purchase day passes for that. So really awesome there. And then kind of stepping away from there, we have my favorite park, which is West Tyson. West Tyson's one of the older trails here in the Missouri or in the St. Louis area. It's very old school. It's super steep. The trails basically go straight up and down the hill.
Most people know it as Chubb.
Yeah, Chubb. My favorite park. I was steward there for about a year. Really cool place. It's the second race in the Missouri Enduro Series. So if you are wanting to do some racing here, 2 of the 4 races in the Missouri Enduro Series are here in Eureka. So this is really important. That's why I want to get to like hotel stuff really fast. We can get into these trails deeper later. This is very technical. You're going to hate yourself for going and riding it, but you're going to love it if you're a hardcore mountain biker. It's my favorite trail. It's where I cut my teeth at. That's why it was important to me to become steward there. And then Scott Gettemeyer and Devin and Ryder are out there now. Those are 3 really awesome dudes who are continuing to work on that trail and make it better every day. If it's raining, if it's muddy, if you come in town and the conditions aren't great, you can go ride at Chubb. you're not going to hurt anything except for maybe yourself, because there's a bunch of rocks out there, so it does get slippery. That's going to be your go-to place. Second to that would be Greensfelder. Greensfelder dries out really fast as well. So Chubb is about a mile from the shop here. You can go down the outer road. There's a Walmart here, some hotels. This is Six Flags St. Louis. Really cool hotel here. And then Greensfelder sits up right at the edge of Eureka. It's 26 miles of trail. Some of everybody's favorite trails here in St. Louis.
There's so many different types of trails too. Like there's beginner trails, there's some chunky trails. Like there's some super chunky trails if you get back there. But it's super nice. Really, really good fun for the whole family.
Yep.
And they have camping. Can't beat that.
Yep. And I would recommend the Beulah Loop for anybody who hasn't been out there before or is riding for their first time. Beulah is going to be you're not going to get lost out there if you're on Beulah. So that's a really cool one. You're welcome to stop in the shop. We'll always talk to you about trails. We have maps here. And again, go on gorktrails.com, download their map. If you're from out of town and you rode and their maps helped you out or something, you can do a membership. You don't have to live here to do a membership. It's like $20. Cool way to donate. If our trails here are free. Because we have an awesome team of people in St. Louis, probably like a solid core group of like 40 people, but realistically like 100, 150 people that come out on build days every weekend here in the spring and in the fall, take care of that. So you can just shoot them $20, as a thank you for doing that. It helps us maintain those trails. So Greensfelder is awesome. That's the first race in the Missouri Enduro Series. For 2022, the Missouri Enduro Series, I believe is on the 28th or something like that.
I'm not
27.
Sure.
It's at the end of March. So go to Low Key Events and sign up for that. We've had those guys on here, so you can look up a podcast on Greensfelder. Really cool. This trail's been around for a long time, but they're constantly adding new stuff. Beulah is a newer loop. They've got some other cool stuff going in.
Yeah, if you go on Trail Forks, take a look at this spiral staircase of death.
Yeah.
It's right at the end of the park, right where it goes to Rockwood Reservations. You hike up this really big hill, and there's just some of the craziest chunk you've seen on a public trail.
Yeah,
just sitting right there. It's super fun.
Yeah, you can. One way to do it is you could ride the Beulah Loop and then go over there. It's the Green Rock Trail, all the way right to the end of the Green Rock Trail. So that's really cool. Or you can park down there, but I think Beulah parking lot's probably the best for that. Greensfelder also has camping, so it is an equestrian park. There are horses. And because of that, they have shower houses at Greensfelder. They have primitive camping sites, so a ton of those you can rent at any time. You can do RV hookup in the horse lot there, so that's awesome. There's showers located there, or my favorite and what we do every November is we rent the Beulah shelter. So you can rent the shelters in the park. Like the Beulah shelter is really cool. It's covered. You can set up tents underneath it. It's like $50 to rent it for the night. And there's a big fireplace in there, so everybody can stay warm. Like I said, we do it in November. It's really fun, but you can do that anytime. You can rent their shelters. There's multiple. You can rent them overnight like that. So that's a really good option if you're camping with a bunch of people, or you can use one of the campsites. And then they have showers there. You do that through St. Louis County Parks. So look up St. Louis County Parks. Same goes for West Tyson. St. Louis County Parks, if you get one of the campsites, you can they close the park off at night. So if you do rent like the Beulah shelter like we do, you are locked in for the evening. Those gates do close at a certain time. That's how West Tyson is as far as their camping goes. So if you want to camp at West Tyson, you can do so. It's not as private, I feel, as Greensfelder is. But they do lock the gate at night, so you need to be in there, and you're kind of stuck in there for a certain amount of time. They also have showers there that'll be functional if you're camping, so that's really nice. So yeah, showers available at Greensfelder and Chubb, camping available at Chubb, at West Tyson, and then Greensfelder's got the RV hookups and campsites and shelter rentals that are really awesome. So that's cool. Both of those you book through St. Louis County Parks. Most of our really cool parks are St. Louis County Parks. Again, camping there and stuff, using their facilities lets them know that, people are appreciating having more mountain bike trails and more trails get cut in. Because it's not just like mountain bike trails. The nice thing is there's no other user group out there exploring putting new trails in. So, by doing mountain bike trails, we're really just adding more trails to the area. So it's a cool thing. It's good to see the parks to see us supporting that. And even if you're just from St. Louis, get a campsite at Greensfelder for $15. It's super awesome.
Nothing better than going camping and night riding with a bunch of your buddies. Super fun. Just go ride, come back to the campsite. Super fun, super laid back.
Yep. And then right between Greensfelder and West Tyson is a place called Bluffview Zombie. That's everybody in St. Louis' favorite trail, I think we can say, hands down. That's about 2 miles from the shop, 3 miles from the shop here. There's Zombie East, Zombie West, or vice versa. When I showed on the map, those are really fun. They've been working on those for years. The trail steward over there, Mitch, and some of the other guys have been just busting their butts. I mean, these guys, like, every week were out there for years and still are, working and getting stuff done. And then eventually now they've actually, and this is all like technical, super fun stuff, really kind of Missouri riding at its core. And then you can get over to Bluffview. It's a little bit flowier. And then up at the top of Bluffview, they built a pump track, they built a jump line, and they built a flow trail. And you're probably a little bit better to talk about those and what that has to offer.
So yeah, the Bluffview Zombie Trail system is super awesome because it really allows riders of all riding styles and abilities to ride at the same place. They have a youth-specific pump track that's really meant for kids all the way from strider bikes up to full-blown adult-sized bikes, and it's visible from the parking lot as well, so that's super family-friendly. They have a downhill flow line, which is going to be like a Bentonville-style flow line.
It's called
have
Packwood Flow.
Packwood Flow. So it's going to have some jump options on it, some berms. It's going to be a really fun one-way downhill gravity-assisted trail. And then they also are in the works of building a beginner jump line. That's going to be super cool. That will go right next to the pump track and the parking lot. And then there also is the blue jump line. What's the name of the blue jump line?
The blue jump line.
The blue jump
I have
line.
no idea what you're talking about.
There's a name for it. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's the jump line at Bluffview. It's got a nice step up and then 4 nice tabletops. It's just a lot of fun. There's really nothing else like it in the area. So if you're into some progressive features, definitely go out and take a look at Bluffview.
Yeah, Bluffview is awesome. Smooth flow trail. It's a nice long. How long is that trail? Somebody can get mad if you don't know specifically.
About a mile or so.
About a mile. Yeah,
I'm
it is really fun. It's
no
awesome.
expert.
Sorry, I had to save the day. We forgot to plug the computer in, so we're actually going live tonight. So that could have been an issue. We always have to have some sort of technical issue. I think that's a good one to have. So yeah, really cool as far as Bluffview goes. That's, like I said, probably the most popular, most ridden trail in St. Louis.
It's a really cool hiking trail too. There's a really cool lookout point if you go down the Bluffview Trail.
Yeah, awesome lookout. And Beulah's got a nice view too, over there. And Chubb even has one over off Flint Quarry. Although, again, by the time you get there, it's not as pretty as it should be. But it's cool. So yeah, no, that's awesome. Those are the 3 trails here in the area. Like I said, kind of 3 of the area's favorite. And then you can even, if you park here at Bluffview, you can ride the Al Foster, which is all gravel, about 6 miles to Castlewood State Park. And that's another 20 miles of trail. That is actually St. Louis's most popular. That is our most popular state park. That's Castlewood State Park. The trails there are awesome. Great for beginners, great for everybody. But it's going to be packed. If it's a nice summer day, maybe go to Bluffview or Greensfelder. There's going to be less folks there. There's definitely going to be less folks out at West Tyson. All the parks are getting more popular, which has been cool. And Castlewood's great, but Castlewood's more if you're in town during the week, during the day on a nice day, maybe that's a good time to check out Castlewood. Elsewise, maybe I would avoid. Even though the trails are super cool.
Yeah, like Grove Peter and Lone Wolf are super fun trails out there.
Yeah.
Then they do have some more beginner-friendly trails as well.
They're awesome. And Castlewood's great. You don't have to worry about getting lost there. All the trails kind of come off of the main road. So no matter what happens, even if you break a bike down, you're pretty close to the parking lots. They all kind of wrap back to the parking lot. So that is a really good place if you're kind of unsure about riding to go. But anyway, the point of the matter here and what we want to talk about tonight is that Eureka is a pretty awesome place, and that's why we worked with the city to try to get the mountain bike park going here, because it's just really central location. I mean, that we just talked about 80 miles of trail, and from the front door of the shop here, you can be at any of those within 7 minutes. In a car. If you're riding your bike, we're still working on getting all those connected. That will happen, not quite happening
You
as
could
of
ride to
2022.
Greensfelder.
You can ride to Greensfelder. Greensfelder is going to be the most obtainable one, and that kind of gets to like what the lodging options are in the area. So if you are staying out in St. Louis, we have the two campgrounds I mentioned at Greensfelder and at Chubb. If you have an RV, right in front of Greensfelder, and there's Six Flags. You can see their big parking lot here. Right across the street from Six Flags is a Holiday Inn. It's a big haunted. Get it out. I'm so glad that you just yawn. Like, it's consistent every single time.
I'm getting tired by the end of the day.
Yeah, dude, I hear you. You do work really hard here. But no, the Holiday Inn's my favorite spot. It is a more expensive hotel. It's $150. They do a lot of like when they have the dog shows come in for Purina, they all kind of stay there. So they have a dog washing station. So if you're bringing your hiking buddy with you, they do have a place for you to get the dog washed up. We also have a car wash in town.
Can you wash bikes at the dog wash?
So yeah, sure.
That'd be nice.
They've got hoses. They don't care. I've talked to them all the time. They'll make, if you're coming in to mountain bike and you let the front desk know that you've got a mountain bike, they will make accommodations for you. So this place is huge. Most of the rooms you can get actually back to your parking lot. So it's kind of like a motel entry, but it's this like old haunted hotel. I forget why it's haunted, but they have all these like old pictures everywhere. You can go look it up. I'm not going to look it up on here because half of the people are listening on audio, or more people are listening on audio. But like all the pictures follow you, like their eyes follow you and stuff. They have like all the doors are only like 6.5 foot tall. They're all short doors. I don't know why, but that's creepy. Supposedly somebody died there. I think it was a little girl. But then anyway, they have a huge hall off to the left, and it's got a giant indoor pool. There's like, it's like a brick floor, and they have like 30, 40 tables out there, and you can just hang out or whatever. There's a giant arcade and stuff. It is meant for big groups of people. Like I said, whether it's dog shows when they come through, any big event that's in St. Louis, people will stay there and book their rooms because they have these huge meeting places that are open to the public, anybody who stays there. So really awesome grounds there. You have your own in and out. So if you have a bike, it's nice to have that in and out. Or there is so much room in that open area. I'm sure that if you let them know you didn't want to drag your bike all the way up into the hotel room, there would be somewhere for you to lock it up in that main area where somebody could keep an eye on it. So they're really accommodating. They're awesome people there. So, it is right across the street from Six Flags St. Louis. So if it is summertime, maybe kind of think ahead a little bit if you want to do that hotel room. But you could ride from there to Greensfelder, or there's a little creek. There's a road called Fox Creek Road that runs between that hotel and the gas station. There's a park just to the left on Fox Creek runs there. And you can, it's a really cool little swimming hole. So that's a nice place too. If you're out here mountain biking, you can run over there on Fox Creek. It's the first parking lot coming from the hotel there. Really cool swimming hole. So that's neat. Do that. And then if you're looking for something, that's about $150 a night. I'm sure it varies depending on the season, but around $150. So kind of pricey for some folks, but definitely well worth it. I'm particular about the hotels I stay in. So that is a place I would want to stay. If you go down the outer road, there's like a Super 8 and some cheap hotels. You can get a room for $50 a night. That's cool. If you need to stay on a budget, it is a $50 a night hotel. And especially if you're staying there in season for Six Flags, then there's a lot of the workers from Six Flags stay there. So there's some long-term tenants there. So if you're staying in the summertime, I would not stay there with my family in the summertime. I mean, the people who own it are great, and off season from Six Flags is great, but there's a lot of kind of like migratory workers, would you say? I don't know, people that don't live around here. So I'm not cool with that as far as hauling around a $4,000 bike with a bunch of people I don't know. I like the Holiday Inn. I'll pay a little bit extra for that. And there's no in between. We don't have like $100 hotel. You can go to the next town down. That's Pacific. And that's home to my favorite hotel. It's a hostel. It's called the Landing Hub. They just opened up last year. They have pods you can stay in. If you need a $50 a night place, stay one exit down the highway. It's about 5 miles, but Pacific is my second favorite town. If it wasn't that much farther from St. Louis, we would have opened our shop there. They've got a cool little old town. They got Brown Jerry's barbecue, which is awesome. They've got my barber shop. That's awesome. They have a couple little cool lookout points and stuff like that. It's a little train town. Super awesome place. They've got the Brew House, which is a nice restaurant with a bunch of different beers and stuff like that. So it's a cool town to visit if you're down here. They have a nice little coffee shop as well. So that's worthwhile. Oh, but the Landing Hub. So it's a hostel. So you could rent for big rooms. They do events, things along those lines. They got a pool coming in this summer. Again, the owners of that I know personally. They're mountain bikers, Shane and Jen, excuse me. They're really awesome people. They're super accommodating. So if you book a pod there, it's going to cost you $50 a night. They've got an area where you can lock your bike up. Really cool people, and it'll take you about 10 minutes to get back to Eureka, but you'll be in a nice, quiet little cool town to hang out in. So that's neat. If you go down to Pacific, the Landing Hub, look them up on Facebook, give them a follow. They're cool people doing cool things. And then there's also like regular $100 a night standard chain hotels in Pacific. You could stay there if you wanted to, but I would recommend staying at the Landing Hub. Super cool place, and they're new, so everything's clean and fresh. So that there's no way I would stay anywhere else.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or my favorite place now, I'm here in Eureka. I like to do a staycation in Eureka though at the KOA. So the KOA is really awesome as well. It's right off the exit next to Six Flags. It's KOA, Six Flags St. Louis, and the Holiday Inn, Six Flags St. Louis. So that's how you can find both of those to book. The KOA is dope. You can park your RVs there, obviously. They also have camping sites there. They have shower houses. They do events on the weekends for the kids. They got the weird thing that you jump and bounce around on. They've got 4-wheeled bikes, 3-wheeled bikes for the kids to ride around on. And then they also have cabins, $50 a night for a cabin. I love that. I go. They got a porch swing, little fire pit. We do that probably 3 or 4 times a year. We'll rent a cabin at the KOA and just hang out there. Really dope. It's super fun. I love it. It's relaxing. And you're still right here in town. So if anything comes up, I tell you guys not to bother me, but if anything comes up, I'm right here to address it. And then I can get back out there and sit around and hang out and enjoy myself. So I recommend the KOA. The KOA also helped us out when we were doing the Eureka Mountain Bike Park. We were on a budget. We were definitely by our shoestrings to make that happen. So I went to the KOA. I said, hey, is there any way you can help us out? So when Census Rad Trails came out to get us the design, and when they built the dual slalom, so when Cam and Cam's Inc. and I'm forgetting everybody's name now. The rest of the dudes, Cody Wilkins, and the cameraman. Oh shoot, he's so cool too. I really hate that I can't remember.
Yeah, Cam's Inc. kind of a big guy. You might have heard.
Yeah, and his cameraman came out here. I've got a couple of their videos on our YouTube page. People can look up from Census. Their cameraman, whose name's so big, JP. Yeah, JP's awesome. But we've got a couple of his films on our YouTube page, so people can check out their work. He films a lot of Cam stuff. So really neat to have them out. But anyhow, the KOA was kind enough to give them one of their deluxe cabins. So I like to stay in the basic cabin for $50. It's just a bed. It's got a heater. It's got a TV in there. That's it. And you use the showers up the way. The deluxe has like a kitchen and all kinds of stuff. Bring your own linens. They don't have linens. You got to bring your own. But the deluxe cabins are really nice. That was super kind of them. KOA did that, and those are like $150 a night or something like that. The guys were in town for a week when they stayed there, so it was a really big deal. That was super nice of them. So the KOA is my favorite place. I go there all the time to stay. I definitely recommend it for anybody coming to town. Super safe place. Again, nice general store. Mm-hmm. So that's it. I mean, the Landing Hub, So pods and cheap. If you got to go on a budget, just stay one exit down at the landing hub in Pacific. You can go to Brown Jerry's, Blues, Brews, and Barbecues. He does cool bands on Friday nights. A lot of times there's steak nights even. I love Brown Jerry's. He'll always sit there. It's Jerry Holloway. Jerry Holloway was a St. Louis Cardinals football player back in the day. But really awesome guy. You'll typically find him sitting right at the front, welcoming you into the place, telling you to sit wherever. And then if you sit in the table that's meant for big parties and you're alone, they will ask you to move to a different table.
Actually sit wherever except there.
No, I'm kidding. Excuse me, I'm kidding. I'm sure he would never say that to anybody, but one time when I went there, Jerry's like, yeah, sit wherever, as he always does. It was great. And then we're sitting somewhere and the waitress comes up and she's like, can you move? I was like, what happened to sit wherever? I mean, it made sense because they were starting to fill up very quickly after I had originally sat down. So we ended up moving and so a bigger party could sit there. They wouldn't do that if it was anybody else, I'm sure. But their food's so good. Their barbecue's so good. But yeah, I don't know. What do you have to say? What's your favorite thing about Eureka? I guess we could do Eureka food here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last thing.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of experience of lodging in Eureka. I live in the city, just make the commute out here every day. It's really worth it with all the trails that are out here. But I've definitely gotten to explore like some of the coffee shops and some of the restaurants around Eureka. La Finca Coffee on Old Town's Eureka is super nice. They have some really cool, authentic coffees. It's super nice, just not your basic Aldi. And then let's see, Camila's next door, gonna have some really solid Mexican food. It's right next door to the shed. Our patio out right in front of the shed is actually where they have their outdoor seating. So you'll often see them out front.
You'll hear them.
Yep.
There is a lot of hollering going on right now. It is awesome. The patio just opened back up today officially at Camila's. Camila's Tex-Mex, hands down, like the best Mexican food I've had in St. Louis. So good. Alex is awesome. His staff's awesome. Mm-hmm. Really cool. Alex has been a friend since we came to Eureka. We originally were not next door to him. We are here, A, because Eureka Mountain Bike Park, and B, Alex wanted us here, and we wanted to be here next to Alex as well. Really great guy. Alex has helped us out. Like anytime when I was steward at Chubb, we had build days there. He brought out food, refused to take money. He would not take money for providing lunch. He does lunch at the Missouri Enduro Series. He did for Chubb. He'll probably do it again. I don't know what the setup is this year. Jesus, almost fell out of my seat. I get so excited talking about Alex's food. No, it is really good. He is next door to us. And then in front of our shop is actually a patio with a bunch of chairs. So after you ride, you can come, or, I recommend when you come into town, coming here, you can stop into the shop. We'll kind of tell you what's going on around town, grab some food with the family, let them sit outside and munch on some free chips, grab a margarita, relax, walk around the shop. We'll tell you about what to do. So it's really cool. I think that's always my biggest stressor when I go to town. Like, I don't know what's the best stuff to eat, what's the whatever you can. I mean, obviously we do an hour-long podcast every week because I don't know how to shut up. So and so like we have no problem, telling you what to do when you get here and what's worthwhile. So yeah, there's Camila's, and then our old neighbor was Melvin Brewing. So Melvin is an amazing brewery. They have an insanely good brewmaster named Eli. He's a madman. I mean, I cannot underline enough how good his beer is. I haven't had his beer in a year and a half because I can't taste anything anymore. But he's really good at sours, or his IPAs are amazing. Seriously, the best beer in the world. I can easily say he's got the best lineup of beer. No doubt. No bitterness. He has a double IPA that just finishes nice and clean. It's so amazing. I cannot underscore enough how good their beer is. And that's a big brewery there. It's huge. You can bring your kids with you. They got arcade there. They got a pool table. It's a big, massive, giant place you can kind of spread out in. So that's really cool. If you want kind of, if you're in town, you want kind of a more modern dining experience or brewery experience. So, and kids are absolutely welcome. Feel free to bring your kids in. It's fun. They've got other drinks there. The food used to have like a Thai infusion. Now it's just like kind of pub fare-ish, but food's good. They have an open kitchen. That's super important, so you can see in there. Again, that's a newer build out, so their kitchen stays spotless. Obviously with the brewery there, the brewery's open, so you can see all the tanks. You got to go over to Melvin if you're in town. Even if you're not a beer drinker, go in there and, just kind of get an experience for it. Melvin's really awesome. That's ultimately knowing when we found out Melvin was coming to town and moving to that plaza, that's why we moved next door. Melvin also super important in getting the Eureka Mountain Bike Park built. They're actually the guys that put us in contact with Census Rad Trails. We helped Melvin before they opened up, as they were still trying to get things together, doing a bunch of different shows, giving out their beers and tastings and kind of pushing things. They donated a pallet of beer to the first 2x4 party. That's their day that we celebrate. That's when we raised money and introduced we called it the St. Louis Skills Park at the time. And then we announced Gork Gravity at that time as well. So that's where everything kind of started. It was all based around an $8,000 pallet of beer that they donated so that we could raise $3,000. It was a huge party. It was wild. I don't think that video is on YouTube or Facebook. I believe all that's been deleted as to not be held against anybody. It was wild times. It was everybody, I feel like, in the bike community finally was there and like met each other, because it was like 4 years ago, and everybody's shirts were off. I mean, they were double IPAs. It was a pallet full of double IPAs. We had about 400 people, and we went through an entire pallet of double IPAs. It was ridiculous. But so yeah, go to Melvin. And then Cody actually lives up in Bellingham, where their other brewery is at. So he had reached out to Melvin about building a pump track in exchange for some funding on some videos or something along those lines. So they were like, yeah, you need to talk to the mountain bike shed, because by that point, for months, obviously, and the whole point in opening the shop was get the Eureka Mountain Bike Park built. And the kids are playing with the dogs. And so obviously they knew that's what we were doing. So they told Cody, get a hold of me, and then me and Cody started banging things out, and that's how everything happened. So again, we wouldn't have the Eureka Mountain Bike Park or all these progressive trails that then spurred off. Linda girl, come here. We wouldn't have all that if it wasn't for Melvin.
Little kids are at the door just...
Gee, normally I would think that's awesome. Right now, because we're trying to record this and like we're like legit live, I'm like a little bit upset about it. But anyhow, I'm not upset. But yeah, so Melvin's awesome. There's a little place called JP's over by Melvin. It's a real dive bar. So if you're a dirtball, no, a lot of people like eating there. But if you want a place where you can drink late night and people won't judge you, go over to JP's. That's going to be your kind of more rowdy bar in town to hang out at. There's Poor Richard's, good family place with a bunch of good fried food, good family atmosphere. That's a Eureka favorite, is Poor Richard's. But yeah, JP's is where the younger people go, and where the people who like to stay up all night go hang out. Not my spot, but a lot of people like it. And that's all on the outer road, over by those cheap hotels in Six Flags. And then once you get into Old Town Eureka, it's a cool old town area. There's Odell's, which is one of my favorite. I don't even have a favorite restaurant in Eureka because all of them are so good. So there's Odell's. They have authentic Irish food. They've got Reuben's. They've got a bunch of different beers. So that's a really cool place. Really nice vibes. The people that own that place are just so nice. So go in there, eat some good Irish food. And then across the street from them is Michelle's. Michelle's in an Italian restaurant. That's a place I go if I have my option to go eat anywhere. It's always going to be Michelle's. They have awesome crab cakes. Italian food, the Michelle who owns the place, she makes 2 yawns in one podcast. We're at 40 minutes, so I guess that makes sense. 2 yawns. Wow, dude. I wonder if we're gonna keep track. 2's the most I'm aware of. We'll see if we get this 3 by the end.
Okay. We'll see.
And when you yawns are supposed to be contagious.
Mm-hmm.
I never, when you yawn, do I then feel the urge to yawn. I feel like you're faking yawns.
Yep. That's
I think
what
you're
it
like
is.
trying.
That's what it is.
Is it?
No.
Oh, okay.
All right. We'll find out.
But Michelle's is awesome. She's always got different gooey butter cake recipes. They also donated a bunch of food at our opening weekend, or when we threw the party, to originally raise funds for the Eureka Skills Park. Get designs done, so that was awesome. And the one of the owners there was my leasing agent at my original spot. He did a lot of moving stuff around to get me into the shop there. He had actually said he had been, before we contacted him about moving the shop in, he's like, dude, I've been calling around to everybody trying to get a bike shop out here, and nobody would do it. And I was like, I'm your man, dude, let's roll.
Mhm.
And so he did a lot of background work to originally get me the shop opened up at first. So I owe a huge thanks to him. And he's been supportive ever since in everything that we do. So go to Michelle's. They even have like a little room that looks like your dining room. It's separated. It's got 3 walls, and you go in there. It's got a table, so you can sit in there, and it's like that kind of old school Italian dining experience. So I love that, because that's how I grew up. I grew up on the hill, so we used to, all the restaurants had that. Like Amaghetti's was my favorite sandwich spot, and they'd always had it was set up like a kitchen, but it wasn't a kitchen. It's cool. But anyway, so Michelle's is awesome. And then before you get away from that, you go back up. Super Smokers is amazing barbecue. Jeff's a really awesome guy there. Super nice people. I think that can be said about everybody in town. I know all the, from doing different chamber stuff, because we were really active in the town in order to get the park built. So I get to meet a lot of these people, and they're really kind of genuine, cool people. So you can go up to Super Smokers, super good barbecue. They've got barbecue with, it's like a spaghetti with brisket on top of it. That's my favorite. On Wednesdays, he does poppers, brisket poppers that are super good. So do that. Yeah. If you go to Port Richards, the steak roll or steak wrap is what I always get there. JP's, their beer's good. I'm a fan of their beer, or was a fan of their beer. I don't drink anymore, really. And then so there's Odell's, Michelle's, and then obviously Camilla's here is hands down my favorite. And then we've got a little Chinese restaurant here in our plaza. It's really good. The owner there is really awesome, dude. His food's really spicy, so if you like spicy food, you can get your fill there. That's great. La Finca is amazing coffee. That's another one. Like, we're really lucky. Like, if you're a connoisseur of drinks, Eureka is a really cool place. And I think that's like kind of what I think about for people. I grew up in South St. Louis, and then kind of Jefferson County, and then now, I spend most of my days here. And Eureka, when I leave Eureka and have to go back into normal parts, there's so much going on. There's people pulling out in front of you. People are driving crazy. This is going on. That's going on. Last time I was up in the city, I seen somebody drive over a stop sign and just keep going on the sidewalk next to another car.
That's nothing new. It's crazy.
It was new to me, but all kinds of wild stuff up there. Eureka is awesome because even if you live in St. Louis, you can come out here, even if it's just for the day. Relax, let your guard down a little bit. I mean, make sure you lock your car. You still have to do that, but relax. We have Route 66 Park, which is coming right here off the shop. If you go one direction, it's Eureka Mountain Bike Park. If you go the other direction, it's Route 66. There's a nice little bike path take you there. It's flat, goes up along the river. You can jump in on the Merrimack there. So yeah, I mean, Eureka is just a really cool place to come and relax and spend a day. The Old Town area with Odell's and La Finca and Michelle's there is really neat. You can walk there from here. There's 2 parks right next to it. The city of Eureka has 13 city parks.
That's pretty big.
In a town of 12,000 people. And then that doesn't include the county parks, which would be Greensfelder County Park, West Tyson County Park. And then if you're big into hiking, there's some conservation areas and stuff here on the other edge of town where it's just all green space around us. There's rock climbing down in Rockwood. So really cool. And if, maybe you stumbled across this video because, your job's moving you to St. Louis, we get people in our shop every day We were like, oh yeah, I just moved to St. Louis, and it was between here and a city I won't name, and most people end up in Eureka. There's the kind of vibe here, and during the summer we have like block parties, we have Eureka days, all these big events that happen in Old Town Eureka. The whole city comes out, they block off the street, and most of the families here are kind of between 35 and 55, young families, multiple kids. So just really good vibes. Everybody brings their cooler out, and
it's a St. Louis suburb, but everyone still knows each other, so it's super cool.
Yeah,
it's a really unique vibe.
Yep,
sure.
And very welcoming, very nice. So yeah, come out and enjoy any of the events the city does. Our parks, the Eureka Parks Department does so much. The Eureka Mountain Bike Park is theirs, and they do a lot to kind of help us maintain that. Gork is also or does a majority of the maintenance, but supported by the Parks Department. Those guys put in a lot of work, moving dirt around and using machines when needed. But they also put on a bunch of city events. We have a big concert stage. They put out the concert stage and that. So we should be getting all back to that now that COVID's kind of calmed down. So yeah, come out on if there's events. Everybody's super welcoming, cool vibe, young people. And then like the other half of everybody from Eureka are like 65 and up. And they've all were born and raised here from when it was this itty bitty little town. And so they're just, also the sweetest, nicest people. So, and that's one thing I really dig about Eureka. If you're going to come out here and visit, everybody is really welcoming and nice. So you're not going to feel out of place. And people love seeing bikes on the backs of cars and on roofs here. It means a lot to the city because they did make a big investment. Being the first municipality, probably in the state, at least here in the St. Louis area, to invest in mountain bike specific trails. I mean, it was so huge to get them to do that. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. They bought into that. Our alderman, Wes Sir, he's not technically my alderman anymore. He's an alderman for a different district. But he kind of spearheaded the project and got everybody else on board, explained what it was and how great it would be. So, the more people we can kind of show coming out here. And like I said, it's perfect if, you're not wanting to drive all the way down to Bentonville, if you're from somewhere else, or even if you live in St. Louis, even if going to Chesterfield and Baldwin compared to being in Eureka just stresses me out so much, dude. I'm so not used to all that traffic, and that's a suburb. That's, West County as well. So it's not like it's just the city's crazy, blah, blah, blah. We don't have massive traffic here like they have in other states. But yeah, I mean, Eureka, I think, is a very special place. And, whether you're looking to come spend the day or a couple days or a couple years with work, I think it's great. I mean, like you said, dude, we constantly have customers in here. Or I got one really great customer. He moved. There's a subdivision that they built in front of Greensfelder. You have direct access to the park, basically in your backyard. He lived in there and he was really pushing. He could have went multiple different places with a lot maybe better climates or that maybe people think are nicer. And he fought really hard to stay here in Eureka. And I hear that a lot from people who move from California, all different places across the country. Everybody kind of finds Eureka to be a really nice place to call home. And you get that vibe even if you're coming and visiting. Oh, you know what I miss? Sarah's. Sarah's on Central.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, dude, everything's so good on in Old Town. I forgot about that. Sarah's has all kinds of great desserts, and if you're into healthy food and stuff, they definitely have that. They have a nice hummus plate, some gluten-free options, things along those lines. So, and then their food's super good. They have a spicy buffalo Caesar salad thing or something along those lines.
Solid.
Yeah, it is really good. No olives for me though. What's your favorite restaurant here when you order?
I'd say probably Camila's. Usually just get one of the lunch specials, whatever's feeling good. All kind of tastes the same to me. It's all fire, so can't go wrong with that.
You got the best Tex-Mex here.
Yeah, and it's right next door, so you walk in, they know who you are. It's pretty. Can't beat that.
Yeah, dude. Legit Mexican food, so good. And then like I said, Alex is and anything I ever need, anything we want to do, Alex is always willing to jump in. And
when we were moving into the shop, he just saw that we were moving stuff into the shop and came out with some fountain sodas for everyone. It's here's a drink for everyone. So super cool guy.
Yeah, when we do Taco Tuesday rides, he always hooks it up on margaritas for us. I mean, if I would have paid for every ounce of margarita that I've poured for people on Taco Tuesdays, and I mean, we would be operating at a deficit here at the Mountain Shed, dude. Like a lot of margaritas. So we do that on Tuesday nights. If you're in town, we'll probably start that up in May. We'll start doing Taco Tuesdays. I got some cool plans for that, so stay tuned there. But that's it. And then there's a market, open air market, every other Saturday, right here in the parking lot
There's
too.
some really good food there as well. There's some little vendor booths with some food that's always good.
So we're at 50 minutes. We just got a few more minutes. It's so funny that so I forgot the biggest attraction is obviously Six Flags. So, if you are from Kansas City, if you're from Chicago, if you're from Iowa, Indiana, Tennessee, Kentucky, Louisville, or Louisiana. If you're somewhere where you don't want to drive far and you want to go check out something new, Eureka can be really neat. We've got Six Flags St. Louis. So if you're bringing the whole family, they've got a gigantic water park, a ton of roller coasters, plenty of stuff to do. And then, like I said, you can jump right on Highway 44, be in downtown St. Louis. You got the zoo, St. Louis City Museum, the Arch, Forest Park. I mean, just everything. And Eureka is awesome because it's, like I said, you can. Ooh, that's 3 on. Dude, I hope to God your mic just really picks that up. If we had an editor, I would tell him go in there and amp that up.
Yep. That'll be a good one.
Yeah, dude. I need it. No, I'm not going to tell you my plans. But yeah, Six Flags is awesome. And then also going into the Merrimack right here is the big river. So we have Brookdale Farms. That's probably one place too. Brookdale Farms just won some award for being one of the top 10 attractions in the St. Louis area. So Brookdale does a lot of cool events. If you are planning a trip to St. Louis, then definitely look up Brookdale. He's technically not in Eureka. He's right across the river from us, across the Merrimack River here. But Giant Farm, he does a rodeo. He does hot air balloon takeoff things. You could have a wedding there. They do a corn maze. They do all kinds of fun stuff throughout the year. Really awesome. They ice skating rink this year even. Really fun stuff. Again, the folks behind that do a lot for Eureka and a lot to kind of make this city what it is and all the cool events we have. So you can follow the Eureka Parks Department page, City of Eureka page. They're pretty good about posting their events on there. Follow Brookdale. Obviously, you should be following the Mountain Bike Shed. If nothing else, figure out if you're going to stay at the Holiday Inn or the Landing Hub down in Pacific. Or camp up here somewhere. KOA is definitely our favorite place. We owe them a huge thanks. KOA, Six Flags St. Louis. So stay there if you can. Eat at Camilla's, but either or, come in and see us. Sit out on the patio. We'll tell you what there is to do in town and what's rideable. Greensfelder's always rideable. Oh, dude. And then on 44, you could either head 25 minutes into St. Louis, or you can get on 44, head out west, so kind of more into the country, no traffic. Once you get on the highway, you're good to go. You head out about 40 minutes, you're going to get Steelville, which is they just built about 5-6 trails out there, flow trails. I feel like you haven't said a word this entire time, dude.
Yeah.
Am I talking? Am I being rude? Or are you just not into talking?
You're just the Eureka expert.
I do get passionate about Eureka.
You're the expert at Eureka.
I do love Eureka.
The lodging. So
yeah, but no, you can go to Steelville. So look up Steelville Mountain Bike Collective. They've got some nice flow trails there. You can continue on another few minutes and hit Forest City, which is a really fun place to ride as well. And then you can continue down to Springfield, Missouri from there and hit Two Rivers Mountain Bike Park, which is another 3 hours. But either or, Steelville and Forest City are about 45 minutes from Eureka, straight out Highway 44. They're both right off highway, super easy to get to. Check that out. And then Berryman as well, Mark Twain National Forest. If you're into cross country, if you want something that is 100% rideable anytime, 45 minutes, about an hour and 15 minutes from here is Berryman. So, and that's on the Ozark Trail. So that's really cool. Even if you want to go over to St. Charles, that's St. Louis's step cousin, or it's our sister city, I suppose. You can go over to St. Charles. You can get right to Defiance there. You got the KD Trail. Klondike, Matson, bunch of really awesome trails. Takes you about 45 minutes from here to get there. And those are the farthest away. And then, of course, we have Shepherd Mountain down in Ironton. Ironton's about an hour and 15 minutes from here as well. So the very farthest spot in St. Louis with legit trails will take you about an hour and 15 minutes. Elsewise, everything else is going to be within 20 to 30 minutes. And like I said, there's like 20 parks. The best place to find out where those parks are and what they are is on goretrails.com or .org, either or. Go on their website. You can look at trail maps. They're not 100% up to date on all of them always, but it will give you a good sense. And you can assume that if the trail's listed on their website, that it's something that has a steward, it's being looked after, and that they were probably responsible for building. So if you are riding here in St. Louis, look at the contribution part of the Gore Trails page. And sign up for a yearly membership. You don't have to live here to sign up for your yearly membership for $20. They'll send you an email in a year and ask if you want to renew. Say no if you haven't been back. Say yes if you plan on coming back. It's really cool. It's $20, and again, it means a lot to the club. That's how they're building the stuff out there at Bluffview. They're raising money elsewise, but they brought in pro builders at Bluffview to kind of get the party started, and they've got some other really cool plans out there. So the more members we get, that was a big part with Eureka. I think the turning point for Eureka, they'd already agreed for that Wester, our alderman. We had been, for a few weeks, we had been looking around for perfect locations for the park. He came up with that because it was unused. We liked the location. Parks Department agreed to it, put it in their budget. Once they put it in the budget, then we had that party. So I kind of felt confident that was actually going to happen, and we could start raising money for it. So we introduced it to everybody, and the city showed up to that. Well, thank God that everybody in the bike community did come together for that. There was between 400 and 500 people. And we had that on our opening day too, which was really cool. And the city saw that. So as far as the city knew in that first year, we had our grand opening, which was like 500 people. And then we had the 2x4 party in 2019, or that was 2018, 2019, 2018. I don't know years, but either or, the city was there. It was Mayor Coffey at the time, and then he was taken over, or Mayor Flower filled that position after we had kind of got things started with the park a little bit, and then he was like the final instrument to make that happen. Mayor Flower he's a home builder. He's got a construction background, so he was really able to kind of, Mayor Coffey did awesome as well, but Mayor Flower did a ton to push the park forward too. I mean, it was really cool to have somebody with that kind of experience to make it happen. And again, this was the first time a municipality had spent any money on trails. These were the first directional mountain bike trails in the St. Louis area. I mean, pretty insane. And you get the city to spend that kind of money.
It's a really big deal when they came out. For as small of a park it is, it was a huge deal. It had a really big effect in the St. Louis community. Super cool to see.
Yeah. And when the city showed up to the 2x4 party and 400 people were there, are you gonna do it? I thought you were gonna yawn. Did you swallowed it? I saw you like munch it and then just swallow it down. Okay. So 3. We're only at 3 yawns. But no, I don't even know what I was saying now.
People coming to see the party.
Oh yeah. So the city saw that 450 people were there at the party. That was the second time they had seen a stroll party, and second time they'd seen that many people, and they were like, holy smokes, people are into this. What the heck? And then they were sold from that point forward. So and Mayor Flower was there actually. Really awesome. And I love this town, and there was no option for me other than being here. And it was always kind of the goal, and why we worked with the other members of the city so much through the local chamber here was, I saw this, I always envision, and I hate to say it because it sounds corny, but like being like another Bentonville. But I really do think it's a really good opportunity Eureka has to get, like, I grew up in the city, and like we used to go out to like South County and Oakville and stuff and think we were in the country. Like, it was ridiculous. And definitely in Babbler, I only put 2 and 2 together that's where we were camping like a few years back. I was like, what the heck? Like, I thought we were going forever away. But it is really cool. And I would love to see more families that live in the city have an opportunity to come out here and explore nature a little bit and kind of open up their world. So I know it was big for me when I kind of figured out all these trails were here. So I think it could do the same for other young people, and I think that's important. It's fun. It's fun as all get up.
It's super nice to come out to Eureka, just kind of get away from the city, get back out in nature. Whatever outdoor activity that you're looking to do, they've got it for you. Super cool.
All right. Yep. I was going to read the comments, but I'm not going to. I've read them though. One says that you need a nap.
I need a nap.
Yeah. So maybe we'll do that.
Who?
Randy Gross, the
hilarious.
wheelie bike.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we need to start doing naps on days we record. We'll just, between 2 and 3, we'll let you take a nap. That's probably a good idea. And then Greg McCarthy had mentioned he's wondering why Pacific hasn't jumped on board, and they are working on it actually. So City of Pacific does kind of have a little bit of a plan where some downhill runs could go in, but right now there's a skate park that a memorial skate park for one of our service members that grew up there in Pacific, was a really good skater. So they're in the process of raising money for that. So it's like the Pacific Skate Partnership. I forget the name of it. Ugh, I feel bad about that. But you can look that up and do that kind of thing. So are we done? Is that why you walked away?
I'm just fixing the light.
Oh, we'll just end it. All right. Thanks for listening, guys.